Hi and welcome to Stories and Stuff. Today I'm going through a new reading comprehension game which is all about helping children make links with a text. The game is called Think of a Link. It's where children listen to, share or read text themselves and then make links between that book and other books they've read and between that book and themselves. When we're doing this activity in school, I use this image to show the children what we're doing. It helps them understand what I'm asking them to do. You can see at the top there's a big book and that represents the text that we're using. In class I would write the title of the book that we're reading. And then underneath you've got a little child thinking of two ways of making links with the book. On the left, the little thought bubble with the book inside, that's where the children make links between the book we've read and other texts they've read. This doesn't have to be a whole story, it could be a piece of text or a poem they've heard. And then on the right you've got a little stick figure in the thought bubble and that represents the child thinking about themselves and the links that they can make between the book and their own lives. And it could be things that have actually happened to them and their families, or it could be things they've seen on TV or games they've played. And I use this image each time we play this game, and we might stick in a small version of the image into reading diaries for children to make links with books when they're reading at home. If we take this text as an example, this is The Way Back Home by Oliver Jeffers. Obviously we'd have read it first. And then you say to a child, can you make a link between this book and another book? One of the links might be, oh, I know that name, I've heard of Oliver Jeffers before, he's something to do with the day the crayons quit. And of course he illustrated that book. Or they might say, oh yeah, I know another book that he wrote, I remember Stuck. So that's one way to make links between books, is thinking about books by the same author. You can also link this book with other Oliver Jeffers books because there's some similar themes. So there's a bit where the boy settles down to watch telly and then suddenly goes, oh, I've forgotten something really important. And that's a bit like the end of Stuck, when he goes to bed and he's forgotten that everything is stuck up the tree. Or children might think of other books where there's a boy playing, or other books with aliens or space travel. There's no end of responses that they can give. Using stem sentences for this is a really good idea. So you give the children a sentence with some blanks to fill in. For example, this book reminds me of another book because... and then they give some really nice explanations. And then the next part of Think of a Link is linking to me. And that's linking to the children, their experiences, their family, their life and the world around them. If we take Hide and Seek by Anthony Brown, again you'd have to read it first. Most children will be able to relate to playing hide and seek. There might be a time when they've been hiding and it's taken people a long time to find them and maybe they start to get a bit worried. There might be times they've been into a forest. They've walked through a forest on a nice walk with their family, or maybe they've been in a forest and it's felt a bit spooky. There's part of the book where the boy is scared because he's lost and he thinks he's all alone. So children might be able to relate to the text that way, not necessarily about being alone in a forest, but times when they've been a bit scared and then at the end his sister turns up and finds him and they're all really happy. So children might relate to that. Maybe they looked around in a supermarket and couldn't see their grown up and then they found them and they felt relieved. So there's lots of ways children can make links. And again we use stem sentences. This reminds me of a time when, and they fill that bit in. Children can have a go at this in their reading diaries if they want to. They can write the title of the book that they've read at the top, and then they can divide the page in half with a little picture of a book and a stick man, and that means links with another book and links with me. Then they can jot down some ideas or draw pictures of the links that they've made with the book. So that's our new game, Think of a Link.